What's up, fam? Hey, thank y'all for tuning in. Once again, hey, be sure to like the video, share it, leave your comments down below. I know some of y'all are gonna feel what I'm about to say. I'm coming with a public service announcement for all guys that's caught up in this child support system, this child support racket, if you will. I've done videos before in the past about things I had to do, things I went through and had to do to try to stay on top of it. Still tried to get me caught up, but I jumped back on it, stayed on it. And as this video is being dropped, I only got like a few more months of payments and I'll be done with this ragged ass system in Texas. But we don't want to talk about Texas. We're going to talk about Georgia. We're going to talk about rapper, actor, producer, entertainer, Young Jock. Now, story came out that Young Jock recently got arrested, but technically it's for not paying child support, but legally it's not for not paying child support. We're going to get into this. I'm not going to ramble on too long. We're going to go ahead and get to the meat of the story so y'all can understand where I'm coming from. Now, the story goes, I'm reading little notes, and we're going to go in as, as I continue. Young Jock arrested for child abandonment. Now, Young Jock, if y'all remember, he had a hit in 2006 called It's Going Down. He's also been on Love and Hip Hop. It says here since 2014. But one thing you may not know, but the article will show you, is that Young Jock has 8 children by 4 different women. I mean, that's a story in itself. We can talk about people, how they make decisions when they're young. Kids are never a bad decision to me. The bad decision is about who you have them with and when you choose to have them. Can you financially take care of them? Are you mentally stable to raise them? Are you and the other parent mentally stable and financially stable enough to provide that child with a decent life? Like I said, that's a whole nother story. So it reads pretty much, Young Jock was arrested for child endangerment in Gwinnett County, Georgia at 3 a.m. on Thursday. Say he posted bond for $1,300 2 hours later. They say now, later on a radio interview, he revealed that he was arrested due to a child support issue. Crazy, right? But listen to this. They say he was pulled over. In the beginning, it doesn't state why, but later it was discovered he was driving on a suspended license due to an outstanding warrant for child support. So the question is, why did he get pulled over? Did he get pulled over because he had a suspended license? If that's the case, how do they know that he was driving? Or did he get pulled over because he had a warrant? So did they run his tags and find out who the car belonged to, and then they, pulled him over, arrested him, took him to jail because he had a arrest warrant, but not an arrest warrant for the child for the monetary value that they claimed that he owed, but because of child abandonment. But here we go. Let's continue. It says he was pulled over, didn't state why, but later discovered he was driving on suspended license due to outstanding warrant for child support, listed as abandonment of a dependent child. Amazing. Now, Young Jock explained one of his children's mothers was mad that he wanted to reduce his child support payment to pay for his upcoming wedding. Now, fellas, here's what you got to understand about women. Okay. You lay down with them, you have relationships with them. You know they got feelings for you, okay? Regardless of how you try to play, regardless of how they try to play it. If you lay down with somebody, have kids with them, I mean, especially if you have some kind of friendship or relationship with them, yes, they're gonna have feelings for you. So it's a good possibility, and there's some little, some little raggedy dudes who think the same way. It's a good possibility they don't want to see you do better or do anything with somebody else without them. And like I say, I know some guys who, were like that same way back in the day. But mainly it's a female tendency for, and fellas can attest to this, but they'll do some crazy things once they see that you are, you know, just moving away from them. You mess around. I mean, shoot, you could have kids with somebody else. They come along. You have kids with them. So for some doggone reason, they think they got what it takes to keep you. But then that's probably what the first lady thought. And then here comes somebody else who have kids, and now she's upset. But you know how they rationalize it? That the other girls or women aren't getting more than they are. You see what I'm saying? Getting more of your attention. Everybody's on the equal plane, so they can rationalize that in their minds. But when you mess around and want to get married to a female, then that becomes a whole nother issue, because now one person has one thing or gets one thing that neither her nor the other mothers of your children get. And that's a hand of marriage, that's stability, that's protection, that's family structure, which is what all women want, you know, and they should, and rightfully so. They should want it, because it's, I mean, heck, that's biblical, you know what I'm saying? So now you done mess around. Not only are you getting married to some woman, or some other woman that's not her, now you're asking her now you're asking her, or asking the courts to reduce your child support payment, and then you say it in public that you want it done so you can pay for a wedding. Dude, that's something you do when you like 19, 20, 23, 20, you know, early 20s. When you're in your 30s or 40s or whatever, you don't do nothing. You don't speak nothing that silly. You better get you up. You better get you what you call it, somebody who can you talk to somebody who can like a PR person or something that can say, now, Mr. Jock, Brother Jock, I don't think you should say that out loud. And you'll be like, why? Dude, it's the truth. Nah, bro, you don't want to tell that truth. I promise you, it won't turn out the way you think it will. But this dude here, with all his geniusness and intellect, put it out there in the public. So I actually told this woman. So now she definitely gonna be pissed off. And you gonna tell her, you're gonna request that, you know, you can lower child support payments just so you can pay for a wedding. Oh man, she's finna go off. But she gonna basically say that, you know, it's because you're not supporting the kids. But anyway, it's gonna be, but you know, it's gonna be because she feels you leaving her. I mean, that's the emotional side. Okay, so he also stated that he's been paying ahead, like paying up front, because he, quote, didn't want no smoke. So he knows how the child support system payments. He said he wanted to meet with the lawyers to renegotiate the payments. But the mother got mad and said, quote, no, you're supposed to be paying me this, unquote. But he said he was paying her a salary, quote unquote, of $5,000 a month. Okay, another thing, fellas, in the state of Texas, like I said, this is Georgia, so I don't know about their laws, and I don't know about their laws, but I know in the state of Texas, dude, if it ain't court ordered, it ain't child support. I don't care if you if you paying your baby mama's rent, if you buying all the school clothes, if you paying for them to go to school, private school, if you paying for all extracurricular activities, you paying all insurance, you putting food in the house. I don't care if you doing little or everything. If it ain't court ordered, they consider it a gift. Now, he probably thought he was doing something like, I'm gonna pay her this, you know, out of pocket. If she keeps it here, I'll pay it out of pocket, and you know, everything will be cool. So, but it looks like, now he say salary, but I mean, it looks like the way the article is showing, the way the article is reading, that he has court order child support and he's not paying it. You know, he's not paying. Well, hold on, we'll get to that. So I'm not understanding what is the salary. What does that mean? You know, like literally, what does that mean? Not know, like say, hey, I'm paying her a salary. I mean, maybe that's the way you feel because you're paying $5,000 a month for each kid, you're ordered to do that. Okay, then don't call it a salary. You know, like when you start dealing with legal terms, you need to keep everything up and up, legit, you know, literal, because all this stuff can come back. Anything you say, they can say can and will be used against you in the court of law. Okay, the warrant had been out since Christmas, which he did not know. He claimed he had no knowledge of, and he's trying to reduce the child support payment from $5,000 a month to $1,500 a month. And he said he's never missed a payment. So that's another thing I wanted to say. Say the warrant has been out since Christmas, which means there was a court date. Now, a lot of people don't know, and you can do this research, and if I find all the links, I'll put them in the description box. A lot of times with these court cases, a lot of time in these situations with any kind of court, I don't care if it's, well, let's just stick to this. A lot of times the defendant does not know about the court case, and you hear about it all the time. You hear it all the time. Somebody saying, man, I didn't even know, you know what I'm saying, baby mama took me to court. I didn't even know, you know what I'm saying, I had a warrant for my arrest. I'm on child support. Didn't even know I was gonna be on child. I didn't even know I had a court case and mess around and know a guy put on child support or something like this. I got sued for something and had to pay. Didn't even know about it. It happens more often than not. And the sneaky, underhanded reason why this happens is because, one, there's no such thing as debtor's prison. You cannot be put in jail for a debt that you cannot pay back. If you owe $1 million, you can't go to jail for owing that $1 million. You can go to jail for defrauding people, just like the Ponzi scheme and what was that dude's name? Bernie Madoff. You know, he owed all these people money, but he didn't go to jail because of all the money he stole and had to pay back. He went to jail for defrauding people out of money. But it wasn't that, so, because if they just, because you see a lot of times these court orders, you ever notice, like a lot of times people get these court orders to pay these debts, but they never pay them, and they keep going back to court, and they never pay them, but they don't go to jail. It's because they can't get put in jail for owing the debt. Now they can get put in jail for not showing up to court. You understand? So if you don't know that there's a court date and you mess around and you don't show up, okay, now there's a warrant for your arrest for failure to appear. Now you can get arrested and go to jail. See what I'm saying? Now you can go to jail. Now you can get arrested and go to jail for not appearing. And now all the fees are going to start adding up. Like a $50, $75, whatever, however much it costs to go to court. Now it went up to failure to appear, extra $200. Filing fee, another $200. Fee, let's say fee you gotta pay the judge, lawyer fee, that's another $1,000. You gotta pay the judge fee because you didn't appear, now you wasted his time, another $50. You see what I'm saying? All that stuff adds up to where now your little $50 your little $50 failure to appear ticket then went up into the hundreds and thousands. And where people mess up at, and let me I hope I'm not jumping the gun because I got a little more to say. What people mess up is they don't show up to court. That's where you mess up at. If you go to court, that's why I tell people, like with traffic tickets, you get a simple ticket, even if you can't pay it, go to court. Go before the judge and beg upon the mercy of the court. Yes, the fees will pile up. No, they say 3/4 of the people die owing debt in this country. But yeah, the fees pile up. But as long as you show up, you don't have to pay them fees. You know, it's like I say, it's fair to appear. I remember I got a traffic ticket, and in Houston years ago, and I had to pay that ticket, and then it was like I say, fair to appear. One of the tickets, they know summertime, you know, they say that after 7 years, like tickets, a lot of these tickets fall out. So I don't remember if it was a failure to appear or the traffic. I think it was a traffic violation. I wasn't gonna pay none of them because I wasn't going back down to Houston. You know, had warrants. They tried all kind of sneaky stuff to get me to come down there to Harris County and stuff so they can get me. But it was just a run a red light. But the only way you could pay is to come back down there. I'm like, I'm not going back down. I got no reason to go back down there. Forget them. They ain't getting their money. But it's like years and years ago. So when it got closer to 7 years, they started saying stuff like, if you don't pay this ticket, we can, keep you from registering, your license. Just like young Jock here with the child support. If you don't pay the fine, what we'll do, we'll suspend your license, and you can't register. So I'm like, okay, well, let me go and pay this traffic violation. But the failure to appear ticket, never paid it. Statute of limitations, time went by, whatever they want to call it, never paid it. Never paid the failure to appear ticket, so it's gone. Because what they gonna do? You can't put me in jail. I mean, you ain't come up to Dallas to get me. You see what I'm saying? And for a little failure to appear ticket and all that, that's just, it makes no sense for a traffic violation. So that's pretty much washed. But like I said, the one I did pay was actually moving violation, and like I said, that could have suspended my license, couldn't register my car, that kind of stuff. So I mean, it is what it is. But again, my point is, like I said, that these laws, man, they got ways. They change these laws and they got ways to word it, and that's why. Hold on, I'm gonna read. Like I said, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but as I was saying, like I say, debtor's prison. They say, which means you're being locked up for a debt. It was abolished in the U.S. in 1833, so almost 200 years ago. Supreme Court ruled that you cannot be jailed for a debt that you cannot repay, which I already stated. So most of the time, a court date is set and the defendant does not know about it, which causes them to be arrested for a failure to appear. They take on fees, really, to recoup the money, or whatever, how you want to call it, that you already owe. That's why I was saying earlier, like a while ago, like all these fees they add on. I know somebody who got like a ticket for, I guess, registration was out, inspection was out, get pulled over, you ain't got no license, you ain't got no insurance. Okay, it's a couple $100, then you don't appear, and now you went from $500. This person's ticket went from like $500 to like $1,800, just like that, because you did not appear in court. But a lot of folks believe, oh, if I don't go to court, you know what I'm saying, I'll be cool, I just gotta hide, gotta be careful. You can't be careful when there's a warrant out there, because they running plates. And when they start running plates, if your name is on that car, they're gonna get you, period, point blank. And that's probably how they got young Jock. It's like I say, technically you don't have to pay a debt, but they can like garnish wages, put liens on your houses, stuff like that, until you pay it, or so they can get their money back. It's kind of like when people do like tax evasion. Like I say, you go to jail not for the money that you owe, you go to jail for breaking the law. So you can go to jail for tax evasion, but then they'll repossess your house, start selling your property so you can pay them taxes. But you're not going to jail for that. You're going to jail for something totally different. But the fees can become so high, you know what I'm saying? So let's go back to young Jock's case. Definition of child neglect and abandonment. This is a text definition. It says, this occurs when a parent or guardian, now I want you to pay attention to the wording and how wording is so important when it comes to laws in this country, just laws, period. That's why you have to have a good lawyer, a great lawyer who can interpret laws and know how other lawyers and judges are going to try to set precedent. Like I said in my earlier video, how this lawyer tried to set precedents with something because, my child support was not, not ordered in a divorce decree. Because it wasn't warranted, really. But as years along, for some reason, anyway, like I say, watch the video. But go to court, and this lawyer tried to make me back pay. Now you only pay back to 4 years if it's ordered, but if it's not ordered, if it's in a divorce decree saying child support does not have to be paid, and like I said, it wasn't warranted, it didn't need to be paid. They're gonna start from that day, or they went into the courtroom. So, but she tried to set precedents with some kind of letter that was written or email that I had written, years before, something like that. But really, the letter didn't tell a true story, but he was gonna use it, spin it, and try to make it to where I had to pay like the last 4 years. And the judge really tried to sit there and think, and really wanted to make it happen, but because you just see it in her. Just see it in her face, in her expression, her mannerism, that She wanted to make it to where I had to pay, go back 4 years, which would have been retarded, because again, I've been there taking care of my kids the whole time. But anyway, she couldn't do it. Bottom line, she couldn't do it. So that's what I'm saying. You had to watch how things are worded, because things can be worded, they can be twisted to where it actually fit the narrative. There's a book that I'm reading called How to Win an Argument, or something like that, the art of argument, how the top lawyers think, you know what I'm saying, and like react and, and express, you know what I'm saying, their cases and their arguments. Pretty good book. I done read like 3 or 4 chapters of it. So, I mean, it's very detailed. Just reading for education and entertainment, that's all. Nothing wrong with that. But anyway, so back to this definition of child neglect and abandonment. Pay attention to the words. Occurs when a parent or guardian leaves a child under the age of 15 in a place without reasonable, necessary care. Now understand, the word care is an action. Shout out to Dr. Boyce Watkins, who put me on game on that, on a video he made, just between love and care. You can love something, but to care for somebody is an action. Love is a feeling. To care for somebody is actually an action. Taking care of somebody. See what I'm saying? But like I said, you can watch that. I mean, that's something different, man. That's on a total different video. So, it also can occur when a parent leaves a child alone, or in a situation where a reasonable, similar adult
text message
would not do that.
Why?
So the thing is, you can look at these words and say, well, the young Jock leave his child in a situation where a reasonable, similar adult would not do so. Technically, you can say that, because if he's not paying child support, then he's leaving his child vulnerable. Then that means he's not caring for the child. So that could be defined as neglect or abandonment. But look at the definition of child abandonment. Occurs when a parent or guardian or person in charge of a child either deserts a child without any regard for the child's physical health, safety, or welfare, and with the intention of wholly abandoning the child, or in some instances fail to provide this, or see that the or, you got this, it's like a finite definition, but then they add the or to it, so now there's a maybe. Or in some instances fail to provide necessary care. When I said care is an action, for a child living under their roof. Now the lawyer can say, Your Honor, this child lives under young Jock's roof this much time of the year. 30% of the time, like what's legally considered him living on the roof? 30% of the time, okay, by legal standards, with the child support, like legal standards of visitation, he gets every other weekend, blah blah blah. So in those times, the child is living with him. So technically, the child is living with him. So, and he's taking care of the child because he's paying the mother's rent. So that's technically his apartment or his house. So he's leaving the child unattended when he's not paying for the child. And just be like, I'd be damned. You're right. Put a arrest warrant out for him. I mean, let's do a court case. Let's put an arrest warrant out. For what? Child abandonment. And it'd be like, okay. Because I remember, and see, that's why I remember, like, when that lawyer tried to say she wanted me to start proceedings to put me in jail for not paying for child support. That's why now I see why the judge looked at her like she was crazy, because you can't put me in jail for not paying child support, because the money's already, the money was already there. They just the judge needs to sign it off and then just have it taken out of the account. But you see what I'm saying? There's a precedence there. That's why I was saying, wording is so important. You have to understand this legal system, y'all. You can't avoid it. I know a lot of us, we've been told, ignore it, stay away from it. But you can ignore it, stay away from it, stay out of trouble, whatever. But in the end, regardless, this country is ran by laws. And they're a stickler to laws that they make, and they will stick to them whether it benefits you or not, as long as it doesn't hurt them, as long as it benefits them and doesn't hurt them. Oh yeah, they're gonna put these laws in the books, and they're gonna enforce them. But we as a people, like I said before in other videos, we have to understand these laws and not take them lightly, because it can destroy like contracts. When you get a student loan, when you get a car loan, when you go to rent a center, get some furniture, get credit cards, all this stuff has a contract tied to it. It's bound by contract, bound by words, and you sign it. And 99.99997% of us do not read these things completely. We'll read one sentence, don't understand what it say, and then we'll just sign it. But then something happens and we can't pay it, and then we try to sit here and plead our case, and we don't understand why they won't listen to us. This is why I say one of the books you need to get is Black's Law Dictionary. This is the 8th edition. I don't know how old it is, but let's look at this definition of abandonment, and then I'm gonna leave you with this. It's a child abandonment is grounds for termination of parental rights. Understand that. So you see how far this can go. But let's say abandonment, and abandonment is merely one party's acceptance of the situation that a non-performing party has caused. In family law, the act of leaving a spouse or child willfully and without an intent to return. But when you add on other law, add on other words to it, like I say, and put an or in there or an and in there, and also or maybe, it changes the whole concept of the word. But young Jock, like I said, this is jacked up. He said this was embarrassing. He said, man, he ain't never missed a payment. This is embarrassing, and I bet it is. You know what I'm saying? He said he's paid. You know, if he said he paid, I believe it. Cause I know, like I said, I've been there for my kids since day one, paid, never been behind. But once the judge signs off and say, hey, 3 months ago I told you to pay this, now we're going to increased it. So now you got to pay the increase, but you're paying the regular. But now, I signed today, but I actually ruled on it 3 months ago. Now you got to pay from 3 months ago up until now. Now you automatically in arrears, and now the government's on your ass. But anyway, I'm not gonna get all into that. Like I said, I got videos about child support, but just wanted y'all to see this, fellas. And anybody, like I said, who think you can circumvent, run away from, hide from the law, it ain't gonna happen. Eventually, it's all gonna catch up to you. Eventually, you're gonna have to deal with the law one way or another. And the problem is, just know once you in it, man, it's hard to get out. It's hard to get out. Like I said before, like say 3/4 of people in this country die. 3/4 of people in this country die. Die in debt, owing debt. It's just hard to get out because debt is fake money, and that's another story. Because it's just fake money because it never exists. If you, like I say, if there's $1 bill circulating the world, and this person here needs to borrow that dollar to survive, to build a business or to do something, and you loan them that dollar, but you charge interest, you charge 10% interest, where is he gonna get that 10 cents from? You see what I'm saying? Where is he gonna get that 10 cents from? Because there is no 10 cents. So where's he gonna get it from? Gonna work it off, barter it off somehow. So now he gonna have to go here, and somebody else gonna try to borrow money. He got to lend money and try to get that interest. But again, you can just keep breaking it down and charging interest. But again, once you get to the very end, where's that interest at? That's why when we talk about student loan forgiveness, I can kind of understand that. I see both sides of, really I don't see no way about it because I owe student loan. But it's like, if they do student loan debt forgiveness, great. If they don't, oh well. But I could really see, but now if they knock out the interest, if you knock out the interest payments, man, that's great for me. I would love that, because like I say, interest is fake money. But I didn't know that until recently. You see what I'm saying? After I got all these student loans and got into debt, and then I want to get educated and learn about money and financing and law and stuff like that. But now it's like too late. So it's like, yeah, I would love for him to cancel student debt, or like I say, interest payments. But hey, it is what it is. Anyway, that's all I got, man. Like I say, like the video, leave comments down below. I know we've all, especially the fellas, you've been in some kind of like child support situation, man. Leave a comment. Tell me how the law done jacked you up, whether it's child support, parking tickets, or anything. You know what I'm saying? Just because we've all been through it. And maybe you can tell ways of how you got out of it to make sure you didn't have to get into it, or how you help somebody else. But anyway, like I said, like the video, comment, share it. And with that being said, I leave you in peace, and I'll see you on the other side.